Better Together podcast.
Welcome to the Better Together podcast from the Fuquay Varina Chamber of Commerce. We are recording today from the Dashmore Conference Room and Studio, sponsored by Rescued Wood Rehab. The Better Together podcast highlights local businesses each week as the Fuquay Varina Chamber of Commerce continues to promote an amazing business community. I am Marty Woodward from Rescued Wood Rehab, and I am joined by my co-host, the one, the only, Brad Marshall from Greater Culture CrossFit here in Fuquay Varina. Hey, Brad, how you doing?
Doing pretty well. It feels like fall is just about here now, which I'm appreciating.
Little chill in the air.
Little chill in the air.
Yeah.
Football's back. Exciting time. Really excited to be sitting down today with JB Ratledge from Peak Perspective Creations, a video agency right here in Fuquay Varina. Does some amazing work, and I know we're excited to get into it. So, JB, welcome to the podcast.
I'm cheering for
Cheer for yourself. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
You got to be your own best cheerleader.
I know,
right?
right? That's what they say. Well, thank you guys for having me. I am super excited.
Yeah.
It's going to be a good time.
And so tell us a little bit about Peak Perspective Creations. We've gotten a chance to get to know you through some of the different chamber events. We've heard some of the work you did, but now we're excited for listeners to get to know you a little bit better. So tell us a little bit about your business.
Yeah, so the business as a whole, it is a marketing agency, but we specifically do videos. And the reason for that is because we see a lot of marketing agencies who do social media posts. We see some that will run commercial, they'll do all these different things, but we saw this gap where there's not really anybody in the area who specifically makes videos for businesses, or kind of acts like an in-house media team for that business to put things specifically on social media. And when you have billions of people on social media every single day, you have a huge opportunity to market to those people. And every single day, people go on their phones to watch videos in the first place. So we saw it as a very unique opportunity, and one where we could truly help businesses grow and just be a positive influence to the business world.
Yeah, one of the things that stands out about the work you've done is really partnering and collaborating with other businesses. I heard someone say that every small business has to think of themselves as a media company as well, because it's so important to share your story, share your message, and get people to understand what you do and who you are. And so what inspired you to get into this line of work of trying to tell people stories and help businesses?
Yeah, I think the thing that got me to want to do this in the first place, or do videos in the first place, was, I picked up a camera when I was maybe 8, 9 years old, somewhere around there, and I used to make videos with my siblings with our little iPhone 8, that was a house phone at the time, and we'd make these videos, we'd show them to friends, show them to family, they'd always laugh, and I realized, hey, I can connect with people through these videos. I realized the power that they have to make a positive influence, and with all the junk that's on the internet nowadays, and as you mentioned, like, sometimes businesses, they all need a media side to the business, but I'm a believer that you shouldn't have to worry about that. And so that's why, like, if you're a plumber, like, you should be good at plumbing. You shouldn't have to know how to pick up a camera and to record and to strategize and to come up with ideas to make your brand better. Like, you shouldn't have to do all that, and we know that. And so I took that love for video that I had to connect with people, to make a positive influence in the world, and then also that need that people have, that you should work your genius. You should do the thing that you're good at. Let us handle the rest, and then merge them together.
Yeah, and I think that's really cool to have that perspective on. Let the businesses just do what they do best, because when people start to take on all these different roles and responsibilities, it becomes overwhelming. Next thing you know, I haven't posted on social media in months, I haven't been able to tell my story, and it gets lost. And so for you to come in, use the strengths that you have to help tell those stories, can be something that's really, really meaningful. And it's great to hear that even from a young age, getting excited about getting in behind the camera, creating things. So you've been doing this for a while. I also know that when any small business begins, there's some challenges they face along the way. And as you've gotten connected with the businesses here in the Fuquay Varina Chamber of Commerce, as well as others, what are some of those challenges you found with Peak Perspective?
I think the biggest challenge that I have, at least at first, was consistency. And that was not just the consistency of the work that we're doing, but ultimately, like, any business wants to be consistent. They want to have consistent work in. They want to be able to consistently pay people that work in their business, and they want to have a consistent reputation. Like, you don't want to go somewhere where it's like, for example, I think, fast food chains are a perfect example of consistency, where no matter what McDonald's you go to in America, it's going to be the same. You know what I mean? And so I think that is a big thing for me, and that is something that I think just takes time to develop. right? Time will tell if you're going to be consistent. Time will tell how you develop that. And I take time every single week to figure out, okay, what are some things about my business that are fluctuating? Okay, how can I get, whatever it is that's, doing really good to be there, or what's not doing really good to go up? Like, how do I meet that in the middle? Not just with the product that you put out, but also like with the finances of the business, with the people you talk to. Like if I go to one chamber event a year, I guess that's like very minimal consistency, but it's not the kind of consistency you want. And so I think that is the biggest challenge. And then, I mean, honestly, I just overcome that challenge by focusing on the actual consistency. Because sometimes people will try to attack, they'll try to attack, how do I say this? I'm trying to figure out how to phrase this without repeating myself. Sometimes people will try to attack a problem when it comes up rather than trying to prevent the problem in the first place. And so in that area of consistency, I don't know. That's if you understand what I'm saying there, that's really it. And I need to be consistent with my words. That's what I'm realizing now. I need to be consistent with the things that I speak. I'm very consistent, saying the same thing over and over.
Yeah. Well, and one of the things I think that you hit the nail on the head on there is this idea of consistency in showing up, getting to know people, getting to get your brand and your business out there, and then consistency in the product that you're delivering as well. Right. And I think for business owners, it can be so easy to try and play whack-a-mole, where next thing you know, you're like, oh, shoot, I forgot to do this. I forgot to do that. I forgot to do this. Let me call JB and this and that. And that isn't necessarily the type of relationships that you're interested in fostering. I know there's a unique aspect to the type of businesses, relationships you want to foster. You're not trying to go in and do the one and done, create a reel, create a video. You love to create a partnership. So can you speak to a little bit of the maybe unique aspects to your business, or what sort of relationships you're trying to cultivate with other business owners?
Yeah, so the kind of relationships that I try to cultivate, ironically, consistent ones. And the reason is because when it comes to the videos that you put out online, one video is not going to, like I think that sometimes you are one video away from doing really well, or one video away from getting a job, but putting one thing out does nothing. Like, if someone comes to your gym and lifts weights one time, they're not going to look like Superman. And that's something that I try to communicate to the people that I want to work with. But the kind of relationships that I like to build, how our contracts work, I can go into that just a little bit, is there's two halves of the business. One is what we call retainers. The other is really custom projects. So like if someone asks me to come film an event somewhere like one time, I'm not going to do that. The only exception I've made to that was when the business was a little bit less structured, or fundraisers. I've done a couple fundraisers. I've got one coming up where I'll do a job there, or if I've worked with you in the past, that's when I'll do something like that. But when it comes to the retainers, our contracts are 3 months, 6 months, a year, or 2 years. And so whenever I start out working with you, we start with a 3-month contract where it's like, okay, hey, we're going to come film with you, where you have all these ideas that we're going to bring to the table. I know that your ultimate goal, you want your business to do better. How do you want your business to do better? Authenticity, humor, value, there's lots of things that go into that. But that's what we figure out. We film with you once a month. We put things out for you so that we can kind of gauge, okay, do we work well together? From there, we can go to 6 months. We can go to a year. We can go to 2 years. There's only one person that will be starting off with something other than a 3-month contract. It's somebody that I've gotten to know this year, and they want to start with 6 because they trust me. I trust them. And we can go from there. So we're looking for people who are willing to see the longevity of what we do and who are willing to stick it out, because Brad, like if you want to have a beach bod for the summer of 2026, you don't start summer of 2026, right? You start now. And so finding people that trust us, that I can build a relationship, and hey, I trust you, you trust me. And even if you give us this money, we give you this result, and then it takes a little bit. And so it requires a barrier of trust, but it requires them seeing, okay, JB and his team are working at this consistently. They want to see our business do better. They're working hard at that. That's the kind of relationship that I want to build, is one of longevity, one where people are in it for not just one video or something like that, because ultimately a one and done is no solution.
So JB, I obviously, I know you do videos. I've worked with you, right? I've had you at Rescue Wood Rehab. But if you could just kind of list off, like, what are those services that you offer?
Yeah. So when it comes to the services we offer, I kind of give the small breakdown of like the two sides. So on the one side of the business that I say custom project. So if you come to us and you say, hey, JB, we're using AI a lot. We'd like to like to make a system where because we have these automated texts that go out before we come to your house and do this service. And they're like, well, we want to pair a video with that text. Then we can do that. So like we're potentially going to be working with somebody who they do really, really great like landscaping work. And so they want a video before the landscaping work is done saying, hey, I'm the owner. Like, thank you for choosing us. We're looking forward to working with you, yada, yada, yada. Then when their yard is all torn up and they're wondering what's going on, another text gets sent out and it's like, oh, it's another video. And it's, hey, you're probably wondering why your yard looks like this. Well, this is part of the process. Remember, when you clean your house, it has to get dirty before it gets clean. So something like that. So if you're building out a system like that, we can help with those custom videos. We've done a centerpiece video for you that, when you pull up somebody's website, the first thing you see is a video. Some people call those centerpieces. If you live in more of the sales world, you call that a VSL, which is video sales letter. So we make those. And so that's what we do as far as that half of the services. The other half of the services is your social media content. Now, what is that social media content? What does that mean? Well, that means that each month we have, we know your goal, because I mentioned this earlier. Every business owner's goal is make more money in the business. Like, I can give you 2 examples right now of one person that we work with. They want to be super authentic. They're like, hey, when we see somebody sees one of my videos and then I go to their house, that should be the same person. And I'm like, okay, that's one way to get your goal. The other one is humor. So that's another way to get the goal. So after we figure all of that out with your business, then we would go into the filming, the editing. We do all of the post work after that. So after we edit everything, we schedule everything out. We strategize, how do we get these videos to hit the right audience? How do we get these videos to say the right things? So I don't know if you guys know, like hooks. Whenever you make a video, you need to hook somebody's attention in the first 3 seconds. Everything I just said, like that whole section, that is one service. So that's like I mentioned, that's our retainer. So those can be 3 months, those can be 6 months, those can be a year, and that's the other half of the business. Those also fluctuate in price depending on your goal. And also, to be fair, we're not exactly cheap. And so if you're looking for the cheapest option around, you can I could recommend plenty of other people who will do it for less, but they don't have the kind of partnership that we look for. They don't have the kind of long-term goals that we are also looking for and that people look for in us. And so we have those custom systems. Then we have some people just call it like the month-to-month content. And that gets super streamlined. Like the first month, we're figuring everything out. It's a little rocky. After that, it gets pretty streamlined, and we just become your business. Like, we become part of the business. We become that in-house media team without having to pay, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 a month for some crazy content. Like, I know I have personal friends who pay that much for an in-house media team, and they do great. Like, they do awesome, but I'm not saying you can achieve the same result, because we are a media team, but we just adapt to your business in a little bit of a different way. So to summarize that, you've got your custom projects, your centerpieces, your VSLs, and then your month-to-month content. Some new members of the chamber, I've offered like one free video, because I think it's great to get their business out there. You guys know 910 Soft Wash? Mm-hmm. I'm going to be Noah. He's awesome. I'm going to do a video for him coming up. And that's partially also what we love to do, especially giving back to the new members of the chamber and new members of the community. That's the only time we'll do like a one kind of short form video like that. So centerpiece, retainer, those are the 2 parts of the business. And all of this you can find at the website, peakperspectivecreations.com. We have all of our options on there as well, which those are more estimates, just because everything we do is custom. So I'm not going to give you the exact same price I gave somebody else. Even if you want the same material thing, your goal might be different. Or if your goals are the same, but we have to get there in 2 different ways, like, that's how I price things out. So they're estimates. They fluctuate a lot on price. I've never charged somebody for the exact same thing at the exact same price.
Because everything is custom, right?
Because everything's custom.
Like a table, right?
Yes.
You're not going to get. You might want that, but you're going to get something different.
Absolutely.
Now, you talked a little bit about this. What do you say? Differentiates your business from maybe those other video folks out there who are doing some stuff? What's the big differentiator?
Yeah, I think the big differentiator is I am not a videographer. Like, I don't call myself a videographer. I think I use videographers. Like, I will have other videographers come on site for a second opinion when we're filming a really important project. Not that if I don't bring a videographer on, it's not an important project, because it is. But sometimes I'll bring them out, because I think a videographer, I think I am the halfway in between a videographer and a marketing agency, where the videographer focuses on what does the video look like. When you pay them, they are charging you based off of the content that they're giving you, not the result that you get. With a marketing agency, video is not their specialty. Like, they bring in a videographer to do the thing because they can't do that specific thing that well. So I think I am that halfway in between of marketing agency. We have the knowledge, we have the brain power, we have the teamwork to be able to aim for a very similar result as doing Google Ads or SEO or other stuff like that, but niching that down to specifically being video. So that's what separates us. And I know, like, I have plenty of videographer friends that I use because I know, hey, I'm not the best videographer on the planet. Other people can get a more pretty visual, but what goes into that is what I work on. What happens after that is also what I work on. So that's a little bit about what makes us different.
So, JB, you've been very actively involved with the Fuquay Varina Chamber of Commerce ever since you joined, and maybe even before you joined, you were attending different things and getting involved and learning about the chamber. Can you tell us about any other community initiatives that Peak Perspective Creations is involved with?
Yeah, so as a whole, I talked to Brad a little bit about this before we started, but a little community initiative that we are involved with and will be coming up. So we're sponsoring a hole at a golf tournament. I'm blanking on the name. This is not a good time to blank on the name, but sponsoring a hole at a golf tournament coming up. But the big thing that's coming up is which by the time this airs, this will already be done. But I'm speaking at Willow Springs High School coming up to a group of people who they're sophomores, juniors, seniors. They're trying to figure out what they want to do with their life, considering entrepreneurship as an option. Some people considering doing video as an option. I'm sure they've heard a lot about AI. So just talking to them about, hey, like, this is my journey. This is where I'm at. These are the opportunities that you have in life. And so that's something I'm really looking forward to, is being able to speak there. And that's gonna be a great opportunity. So I'm like really excited about it. I don't show it like a lot, but like I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be a good time.
I get the sense that you love giving back to other people, whether it's some of the new chamber members speaking at the high school, golf tournaments, a lot of things in which you love to share your passion for other people. And I imagine along the way here, you've learned a lot of lessons that have helped other business owners run their media strategies and campaigns. I also imagine there's probably some lessons you've learned about running a business yourself, at one point in time being one of the younger chamber members here involved. So can you speak a little bit to some of the lessons you've learned in terms of running your own business?
Yeah, I think what I have learned running my own business, or at least the biggest lesson, is the why. Like, why is it that I wake up every single day and do what I do? And so I'm a believer. I believe that Jesus came and died and rose again for your sins and my sins, and that one day we're going to see him again. And that as a whole is what keeps me going. And the reason I say that is because you can make a really cool business, but if the things that you work for you won't get when you die, what are you working for? And this is a realization that hit me not too long ago. Like, if you are working to have a nice car, like, okay, you're going to get in a car. I mean, I have a friend who had this beautiful M4 competition. Like, he wrapped it, called it the Batmobile. It was amazing. And like 2 months later, got rear-ended. And it went like that. And so if I work to have a certain status or to have a certain house or for things that can be gone instantly, yes, finances are important. Yes, you got to be able to live somehow. But if that's what I'm working for, then ultimately, like, those things are going to go away one day. And so that also translates, even if you're not a believer like myself, like you being in fitness, like, you get one body. And so instead of running a business to make money off people who, maybe have some body image issues, doing it so that you can truly help them and say, hey, like, I want you to be as physically strong as possible. You building this table and building if you build a mantle for somebody's house, like, there could be, you don't know what's going to go on that mantle. There's family pictures, there's memories, there's these other inspiring things that sit there. I mean, think about this table, think about all of the amazing conversations that happen here. So rather than working for that temporary dollar or that temporary thing, that status, working to actually make that impact in somebody's life is probably the biggest piece of advice or realization that I've had.
Yeah, I can certainly vouch for that as well. I think the more you're able to communicate that why with other people, they want to get on board with you.
Yeah.
And so I imagine in your line of work as a video agency, that's a lot of what you do, is trying to help owners share their why, share what their values are, share what they're all about, because people connect and they resonate with that. And along those lines, I know you mentioned that you're going to get a chance to speak at Willow Spring, and there's probably some other insights that you could share with other entrepreneurs or folks who are thinking about starting a business or maybe just along the journey. Maybe it's even some of the notes that you're excited to share with those high schoolers, but what are some of those words of wisdom that you might share with other aspiring entrepreneurs?
I think the thing that helped me the most one of the things that helped me in my entrepreneur journey and even just finding what I want to do. This is a piece of advice that applies to anybody who is not sure what to do with their life. And this is, at least while you're on this earth, find something that you like, find something that you're good at, and find something people will pay for. And make a little Venn diagram, write little things in there, and if there's anything that fits, that overlaps in all of those sections, that's what you do.
We love Venn diagrams at the chamber. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We do.
No,
we do. We love them.
I couldn't tell if that was like bleeding sarcasm or not. I'm not.
No. It's funny that you mentioned that because it's actually the board of directors for the chamber. We actually have a Venn diagram that started our entire year, so it was kind of a funny thing.
That's awesome.
Yeah. That concept, I might be misquoting this a little bit, but I believe it's a Japanese concept of ikigai, which is similar to that, of like this thing of what you love, what people will pay you for, and what fulfills you type of concept.
That's very similar.
So that idea of trying to figure out what those pieces are, and then that can be something that can guide you as a young or as an aspiring entrepreneur. I love that perspective. And along those lines then, so we've got the why behind what you're doing, you've got the path, and you're trying to carve it out and trying to figure out where you're going. When you start to think about either future projects, upcoming events, like all those types of things, like where do you see Peak Perspective going, and what gets you excited about what the future holds for your company and business?
I am excited for a few things coming up. One, all of the people that we work with now have either profited or are getting close to profiting, just depending on the time that we have worked with them. And they're all seeing the return on their investment. So I'm very thankful for that. All the businesses that we work with, their businesses are doing better. Are there challenges along the way with that? Yes, absolutely, which some of that can be a story for another time or a story for now. But some things that I'm excited for, we have a couple new people that will be joining the Peak family. That's what I've started calling it. And so they're joining the Peak family, they're partnering up with us. One in a space that I have not worked. I typically work in the housing industry. So like flooring, exterminating, sodding, roofing, those types of things, the general contractors, like those are the type of people that I generally work with. We are potentially onboarding, and this is one of the people that I mentioned wants to start that with 6 months, a financial planner in the area. And so that is a whole different ballgame, but it is going to challenge me to get creative. It's going to challenge me to think. It's going to challenge me to step outside of my comfort zone of like, hey, I can make videos for businesses in the trades or housing industry all day long. I know exactly the people that they're going for. I know exactly how to market to them. So I'm not worried about that. This is a different ballgame. And so I'm excited for that. I have a personal project. You know what? I will tell you guys about this because I was debating on doing it, but I will tell you now.
Breaking news. Might be hearing it.
No, yeah, look out. This is new. Yeah, here we go.
Breaking news. So I am putting together, it's not a course, I promise. I'm not going to be one of those course gurus. But I am putting out basically these free, a 10-part series called the 7-Figure Playbook. And how this works is it is going to be a breakdown of how bigger companies market, what are the strategies that they use to market, how I apply that in business, and then I'm breaking it down to the point where simple things that you can do in your business to get those similar results. I'm not charging anybody for it. It's going to go straight on YouTube. When that's going to come out, I have no idea, but it's in the works. The outline's been made, script has been made. The people who are going to help me film it and put everything together, that's already been determined. And so now it's just a matter of time for some things to fall into place as far as the content I'm putting out, some of the places that I choose, like actual companies that I choose. I picked some that I want to be pulled from their strategy a little bit. But yeah, so I'm super excited for that coming up. That's a personal project. That's not for anybody else. But yeah, that's things. So we onboarding some people and then personal project coming up. So.
Awesome. So,
very excited.
You're out and about in Fuquay Varina, and both with chamber events and other things. Do you have like a favorite local spot or spots that you like to hang out at?
Oh yes. Am I allowed to say a couple?
You can say as many as you like.
Okay.
Other businesses really don't mind if their name is
no,
mentioned.
I believe it. So one of them, I think the number one on my list has to be Cultivate Coffee. That I swear I need to get my mail delivered there. Like it's bad. They know my order. I walked up today and she goes, "Do you want it hot or ice?" And I was like, "Hot." And then because she knows exactly what I want, and it just fluctuates between. Now it's pumpkin spice season. Don't judge, but it's pumpkin spice season. So hey, listen. My dad took away my man card last year because I told him I got a pumpkin spice latte in August, and he was like, "Son, if I could kick you out of the house, like I would." But like that's a whole different thing. So it's a pumpkin spice latte right now.
I got my first one on Tuesday. It was September. I felt like it was okay.
The
with it,
leaves
so.
are kind of changing.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
That's right.
But Cultivate is my number one. Also, just because I put myself in a room full of people where I never know who's going to walk in. I have opportunities to just build relationships there. It's an environment where I think, especially everybody on that back wall, kind of feeds each other with, hey, like we're working, we're staying focused, we're getting things done. And because with how my job is structured, how I've structured this business, 95% of the time, my work is mobile. And so I could hop on a flight tomorrow and go to Bali if I want. Now, poor financial decision if I did that. But I would rather choose Cultivate Coffee where it's a good, positive environment. So Cultivate's probably my number one. And then a couple weeks ago at the after hours, I had Fiesta Time for the first time. I've been twice in the past week. Fiesta Time is really good. And then my third, and I'll be done after this, I promise. Best ice cream in town is Fat Cat.
Fat Cat.
There's no question.
Our buddy Tom at Fat Cat.
Oh, shout out to Tom.
New space is open.
Yeah, new
Yes,
spaces.
I haven't been. I need to go.
You got to stop by. It's a great
I've
little
seen
space.
the big cat.
It's a great little.
Yeah.
The big cat. It's
big
cool.
cat, yeah.
Tom built that himself.
I
all
believe
by
it.
himself. He did a great job with that.
I believe.
So, JB, what is the best piece of business advice that you've ever received?
I think kind of calling back to, well, do we want, how do I answer this one? I think it comes down to both working, almost like we were mentioning earlier, like working for something greater than yourself and working for something greater than material that can go away, and then also that consistency that we mentioned earlier. I think to kind of combine those, one, you need to know you can't do it yourself. Like you have to build a team around you. How that happens, it will happen naturally if you let it. Like I think a lot of businesses fizzle out. Entrepreneurs get overwhelmed because they think they should do everything. And part of that is I understand where they're coming from because I know that I can do something really, really well in a business, but it's also humbling yourself and being like, hey, I don't know everything. There's like my team of editors, they're all better than me. Like every single one of them. There's not a single one where I started editing all the stuff myself, but there's not a single one that is better than me. Sometimes I wonder like how in the world do they even edit some of the cool stuff that they do? Shout out editing team. And so with how they work, like that took me saying, okay, I can edit, but it's either bring on more people, help more people, and let somebody else edit and let go a little bit of that control that I have on the business and letting other people's creativity flow versus trying to add more to my plate when I know it's already full. So I think being self-sacrificial and just saying, hey, like other people can do this certain thing better than me, and I should let them help out. That way we can help more people. Building a team is probably one of the biggest pieces of advice, but also just things that I have learned.
Yeah, I think that advice has been given to most entrepreneurs, right? To hire the people who will, take care of things for you and cover your back end or leap out of the dugout should you ever charge the mound. That's what's up in my shop. So is there like one surprising fact? Like everybody knows, hey, JB does videos, he does marketing. Is there something crazy that you do? One surprising thing about Peak Perspective?
About the business or personally?
Oh, okay. Either way, let's go. We got dirt.
No, so business. One surprising thing. I got the craziest. Okay, this is an awesome story. I got a call one day from a photographer friend of mine back in February, and he's like, "JB, listen, man. I'm taking pictures at this company. They're opening up this like warehouse thing in Youngsville, North Carolina, and it's gonna be next week, and they need a videographer." And I was like, okay, I get this is like a one-time job. I don't really want to do this, but I know the buddy well enough to know like he wouldn't call me if it wasn't important. And I'm like, okay. He's like, look up the business. I'm like, okay. So I look up the business. I can barely find any information on it. But that's what I'm not going to lie. That's what I learned is if you can find barely information, like any information about a business and it like have like some, they're a technology company and they have like some inspiring saying on the front of their website, it's a huge company. And I didn't know this. And so this also happened to be the day that it snowed really bad in February. So I hop in the car with him. We drive. This is the craziest story. We drive all the way to, so we drive about an hour, hour and a half. The snow's like starting to come down a little bit. This company had opened from New York. They opened a second location in Youngsville, employing, I think it was a couple hundred people to work. It's like a refurbishing company. So they partner with Windows. They partner with GSK. They partner with all these other companies to bring in tech, refurbish them, and then sometimes it goes back, and then sometimes they service over 100 countries in the world where they will send out tech to like random spots in Africa so that kids can have computers and access to learn. This company is huge. And I'm talking huge. They had a representative from every single brand that they worked with there physically for this like ribbon cutting opening. The CEO was there, all of the board was there. And so to be in a room with all those people was crazy. Personal crazy. I was a semi-pro in table tennis at one point. In 2021, played in the state championship, lost really bad. We don't talk about that. It was bad. So that was fun. And then I studied card magic in depth for about 3 years. And so if I had a deck of cards, I could abracadabra right now. I'm very rusty.
Next time we'll have to bring the cards in.
Yeah, those are a couple crazy or fun facts people probably don't know about me. And I love golf, which some people know, some people don't. But there you go.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's so random.
I feel like you need to carry a deck of cards around with you because that's going to grab people's attention at the chamber. You just be playing mind tricks on them, and they're going to look at you like, what? Like,
yeah.
Don't worry, I can do the same thing for you.
Business magic. I can make it happen.
That's right.
Oh,
I'm a huge golfer myself, so we definitely need to get out and play now that the weather's turning perfect for golf. So looking forward to that.
Yeah, tee time prices go up, though.
That's the problem. We are hitting peak time here in North Carolina, which can be a challenge. So I know a lot of listeners listening are probably interested to learn more about or seek out some information. You mentioned that there's opportunities to learn about the packaging. You mentioned the website, so feel free to disclose that again. But where can people find out more about you and your business and either partnering with you or figuring out ways that they can support you?
Yeah, so I think there's really two ways. One, if you see me anywhere, come talk to me. That's number one. I love to build relationships with people. So if you're watching this and you're at Cultivate all the time and you've seen me in there and you're like, who's this weird kid that always wears the same hat backwards? And well, I don't have it on backwards right now for branding. But and you're like, I see this kid in there all the time. Come talk to me. Two, you're welcome to go check out our website, peakperspectivecreations.com. On there, you will see past people that we have worked with. You'll see some of the stuff that we've done. You'll see also ways on how you can get in touch. I offer a completely free meeting where it's like, hey, I just kind of would like to know you, like to know your business, learn a little bit about the ins and outs, why you want to work with us. You can see price estimates on there. I say that lightly because they're estimates. Because again, everything is custom. So you can, if you want to schedule a meeting with me, you can do that on the website. That'll add a link to your calendar, and it's super, super simple there. Or come talk to me in person. I think that's
you can find you out there on the Instagram. And
Facebook
I
mean, if you're welcome. Yeah, on Instagram, being a guy who does social media videos for a living.
You do some pretty goofy videos, and they're fun.
I do some very goofy videos. So Instagram is just my name, JB_Ratledge, and then Peak Perspective Creations LLC. That's the other one. I'm also on Facebook. YouTube, I use as more of a funneling thing. So if somebody has a question about something, I'll send them to the YouTube. I'm not trying to build that. But yeah.
So real quick, I'll interject. I got a branding idea for you. So instead of putting your logo on the front of your hats because you're always wearing it backwards.
Oh, that is genius.
Your logo needs to be on the back of the hat.
You have to work with Kelly over there.
I got to tell Kelly that. Which, by the way, that is a good time. That's for you. That's for you.
Love it.
Those are the official Peak Perspective hats.
So when the first ones come out on the back of the hat, I want one of those.
These will be considered the originals.
These are OGs,
like,
right?
You know what? Yeah, you know when you get a baseball card and like there's a letter on the name that's like backwards or something, and it's like that's what these are. You guys are getting the originals. And shout out to Kelly from Varina Goods. Her card is on the inside of those hats. but they make all my hats. It's phenomenal.
Yeah, Varina Goods, they do
great
great stuff. Yeah,
Yeah,
great
really
stuff.
great. And so you've been really involved with the chamber in events, getting to know people. The chamber is one of the fastest growing in Wake County. We've seen a lot of people have a lot of success stories and things that have been helpful and beneficial for them. So when you start to think about being a part of the chamber here in Fuquay Varina, anything that stands out to you as what's been beneficial for you, things you've enjoyed, things that have been helpful?
I think one of the things that I've enjoyed is just being around a group of like-minded people. Like I was homeschooled from, I believe it was first grade through 12th. I joined a co-op, so I had a community. It was classical conversations. So like I had a group of friends, great. But then that ended. I graduated from that, and so then it was okay, well, where's my community now? Like, if I am choosing to be an entrepreneur, I need to put myself around people who think like me. I like to be the smallest in the room, and so sometimes putting myself in a room full of people who, their businesses are far more, they do, a lot more money-wise, they help a lot more people. That's been one of the things that I have really enjoyed. It's just being around other people who want to make a difference in the world and who want to see it a better place. Dustin has been a huge influence with that too, because he wants to see more businesses connect. He wants to see more businesses grow. And so I think that has been one of the biggest things that I've just enjoyed about the chamber.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, this has been a lot of fun getting to know you, JB, getting to know Peak Perspective, and hearing a little bit more about not only your story, but the way that you're impacting other people. So thanks so much for being a guest on the podcast today.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me. This has been a lot of fun.
Yeah, thank you, JB, and thank you to our listeners. So join us each week on the Better Together podcast from the Fuquay Varina Chamber of Commerce as we highlight a great local business. From the Dashmore Conference Room and Studio, sponsored by Rescued Wood Rehab, I am Marty.
And I'm Brad.
And we are Better Together.
We're better together. It's a weekly podcast. We're better together. You should know that there's more in the dash. We're better together. Fuquay Varina, Chamber of Commerce. We're better together podcast.